Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wild. Today we are talking about how a truck purchase nearly derailed our business. This video is going to be a little different than what I normally talk about because today's video is part of a public review and documentation of our experience with Lou Bachrodt Chevrolet in Pompano Beach. This isn't about attacking anyone, exaggeration, or just venting online. It's about sharing factual timeline-based accounts of what happened to our business after purchasing two commercial vehicles so other business owners can make informed decisions on their future vehicle purchases. Everything you're about to hear is based on records, communications, and documentation that have already been preserved and provided to our legal counsel. This is our experience, perspective, and why we believe transparency matters. This is a review being published across multiple platforms, formats, including video, written articles, and archived documentation for our website. So anyone reviewing this situation can access the full context, timeline, and supporting material. So in this video, we are talking about our experience with Lou Bachrodt Chevrolet in Pompano Beach, what they claimed versus how it actually is, and everything in between. But before we do that, let's go over a quick disclaimer. The content of this video does not contain and is never intended to be legal, business, financial, tax, or health advice of any kind. This video is for entertainment, educational, and informational purposes only. It is advised that you conduct your own research and consult with qualified professionals before applying anything you find online. I also want to be clear that everything that we're going to be going over is very market to market, case by case, and what applies to me in my market may not apply to you. So with that said, let's get started. Why we bought these trucks. In October 2024, Driven Wild was expanding in a way that would allow us to develop more educational information for more content, as well as future membership perks for those subscribed to Driven Wild, whether it's on our website or within any of the platforms they normally work with, such as YouTube, Patreon, etc. We had landed a few disaster relief opportunities connected to hurricane response work in Florida and North Carolina. This wasn't our main line. We specialize in logistics, last mile delivery, and transportation, but disaster relief was a serious growth opportunity at the time. And in my mind, I was also helping a family member who was interested in getting into business for themselves and gathering information to convert into content later. So in my mind, this was a win-win. So we went to Lou Bachrodt Chevrolet in Pompano Beach. One of our business partners at the time, Akeem Jones, had bought from them in the past, so there was already an existing relationship and we trusted the process. At first, we were shown dump trucks, and honestly, I wasn't sold on them. They didn't fit our core business or any of the future business models we had in mind. We were planning on getting into cargo van work and hotshot trucking, and this just didn't make sense. And if we were to get them, they would require modifications and push us into areas that we didn't specialize in or have any interest in at the time. But we were told something important by Steve Goldman, one of the sales representatives on that floor. If disaster relief didn't work out, we'd be able to trade them in and transition into cargo vans later. And that commitment mattered to us, especially with an existing relationship with Akeem, because based on that, we moved forward and we purchased two brand new 2024 Chevrolet HG chassis trucks financed through Santander Bank. The first delays and warning signs. We were told that the trucks would be ready on the following Saturday after the purchase, and they weren't. On Saturdays and Sundays, their service department was closed and they still needed to install some parts later. We finally got them Monday. They threw in a few oil changes, but at that point, delays were already costing us time. And at the time, we moved forward because we saw this as normal dealership friction, nothing major. The unauthorized credit pulls. Not long after that purchase, something serious happened. I started getting alerts from multiple credit bureaus that my credit had been run more than 15 times. And later I found out this was for a Tesla, a vehicle I never asked for, applied for, or authorized as part of my business. These inquiries came from multiple banks and lenders, which I never gave permission to. The only place with my full information was the dealership, and later it was confirmed through documentation and investigation that my information had been misused without my authorization. And that issue became part of a broader legal review. And when I asked them about it, I was told,
somebody must have used your information online.
That explanation didn't make sense. And to fix this, I had to pay $400 just to get the damage addressed because I didn't have the time to fight every bureau myself. And during that time, we were trying to secure business funding. So this wasn't just annoying, it hurt business growth. But because of the relationship and the trade-in promise, I let it go. But that turned out to be a mistake. The trade-in that never happened. Now, when disaster relief shifted and cargo vans just made more sense based on the contracts I had at the time and was available to me at the time, we went back and wanted to discuss the transition they committed to. And that's when their story changed. Now the vehicles were too upside down. They couldn't help. They tried sending us elsewhere, and then that fell through. And at one point, I was told by Steve Goldman, the salesman on their floor, that I should consider bankrupting Driven Wyld and starting over entirely. That wasn't constructive guidance, and it didn't address the original commitment they made. And at that point, that original commitment was gone when the trucks started failing. Next came the mechanical problems. One truck showed up dead. Battery replacement, warranty work, months of downtime. We missed contracts because of this. When we tried to sell one of the trucks privately to move forward, it wouldn't start again. The service was diagnosed as a parasitic drain. The buyer walked on us, and we were worried that both trucks were lemons. We contacted a lemon law attorney. They advised that we should conduct one more final repair attempt, and we scheduled it. Then the service advisor went on vacation. More delays. By the time we tried to bring the truck in, it wouldn't even jump. We had to have it towed. Service department, deflection, and misrepresentation. At this point, we weren't just dealing with mechanical problems. We were dealing with how those problems were being handled. Every time we brought the trucks in, the responsibility was shifted back onto us. We were told repeatedly things like, you gave it to us dead. The hazard lights were left on.
Yeah, apparently they had a switch. A switch was in the on position, filling the battery, is what I'm being told.
Yeah, they left a switch on. A switch on, and the hazards was on in the back, apparently. That's what he said. I don't know.
We've never seen anything like this before.
I've never seen it before. I mean, we do bodies all the time, and we see bodies all the time, and we don't normally see it like this.
And instead of diagnosing and resolving the underlying issue, the focus became explaining why it supposedly wasn't their fault. Despite the fact that they were nearly new commercial vehicles. Despite the fact that these were the same problems that kept reoccurring. And despite the fact that the truck had already been brought in multiple times for the same issue. And at one point, the vehicle was returned to us and presented to us as repaired. But when we tested it immediately, it struggled to start. The problem had not been resolved, and this had simply been sent right back out. That pattern of shifting blame, minimizing the issue, and returning an unrepaired vehicle is what ultimately forced us to escalate this further and document everything. Because at that point, it was clear that the underlying problem wasn't being addressed. In addition to the timing issues, we also identified discrepancies between the vehicle's actual condition, usage, and what was reflected in the service records and reports, including mileage and repair timelines. These inconsistencies raised concerns about whether the documentation accurately reflected the work that was performed and what work was completed, and the true status of the vehicle at the time it was returned to us. What this cost us. Now let's talk numbers, because this isn't just emotional, this is financial. We had disaster relief contracts with 4 different companies. One of those contracts we were earning $7 to $8 per cubic yard. Each truck could hold roughly 40 yards. We ran 7 to 8 loads per day, 7 days a week. Both trucks were operating in position to gross about $56,000 per month. And instead, we lost that revenue. And at the same time, we were paying $1,494 per truck in loan payments, $885 in insurance, with no income from vehicles that forced us onto credit cards. It stalled growth, damaged momentum, and cost us real money. Where things stand now. Every document, communication, image, and video recording has been sent to counsel. This video isn't about threatening anyone. It's about transparency and showing what happens when systems fail small businesses and why documentation matters. Final thoughts. Here's the takeaway. This wasn't one bad moment. It was broken commitments, unauthorized credit activity, mechanical failures, documentation issues, and months of lost opportunity stacked together. If you're a business owner, especially in logistics or contracting, learn from this. Document everything, verify everything, protect yourself early, because once momentum is gone, it's really hard to rebuild. If the dealership wishes to clarify or correct any factual points, we're open to reviewing the documented information. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe. Check out my website, drivenwyld.com, if you'd like to learn more about some of the services and gig platforms we have talked about in the past and are offering to gig workers and small business owners today. And if you would like to stay on the cutting edge of what's happening in the gig economy and be in the know of what most people are talking about, make sure to check out our new channel, the Gone Wild Live Clips and Podcasts, where we take the live streams we hold on Thursdays at 9 p.m., cut them down to more digestible clips, and have them posted here. Also, check out my Patreon for more exclusive clips, full-length live stream replays, and other membership perks for self-employed individuals who want to grow and scale their business. Once again,